What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Wolfcryer here, and today I want to take some time to go over my Greater Rift 120 clear from a few days ago, break down my thought processes, and talk about the mistakes that I made. And there were definitely a ton of mistakes in this Greater Rift. I am running the Sunwuko's version of Tempest Rush with that Flurry rune. I actually have Stone Gauntlets cubed, and I'm wearing Lefebvre's. These are both for damage mitigation. I do have a bunch of Ancients for my build, but I do not have any Caldicens whatsoever. But I do have a couple of decent items like this Vengeful Wind, my Wan Kim Lao, and like I said, I have a few Ancients here and there. My gems are pretty high. I have a 110 rank Bane of the Stricken, I have a 113 Taeguk, and I have a 122 Bane of the Trapped. But like I said, no augments, and I am only 1,059 Paragon when I completed this rift. This is a GR 120, so let's go ahead and take a look at the rift. Now, as we enter this rift, I'm not really a fan of the tile set whatsoever. I'm looking around, wondering if I should actually complete this, but then I see the mob type, and I'm seeing that there is a little bit of density. Maybe we can work with this. So I'm channeling up my Tempest Rush right here. I'm waiting for my cold rotation on my Convention of Elements. I'm going to go ahead and blind everything and then stop channeling, and it takes out a big chunk of mobs. 38 mobs right there with one pop of the Flurry rune on your Tempest Rush. That is pretty beast. So I know I've got the damage for this rift. I know I can use the Pandemonium buff. Especially right here, I've got corpses coming up with that 50 stack of the Pandemonium buff, but I actually wasted it there. I should have waited and pulled this yellow in first before triggering the corpses. The corpses don't deal an exceptional amount of damage, but they would have been helpful for at least whittling down this elite pack right here. Now, I do know that I have that 100 stack to work with, especially since now we're at 79. So I'm going to go ahead and group up a lot of these baddies so that I can trigger that effect and hopefully allow these tornadoes that spawn with 100 stacks of the Pandemonium buff to actually kill this elite pack, because they deal a ton of damage, those tornadoes. So cold rotation again, go ahead and stop channeling. That's going to take me to 92 stacks. And I'm going to go ahead and trigger the tornadoes right about here. I'm going to cast my blind, stop channeling, and I didn't even need cold rotation. And those tornadoes dealt a ton of damage to this elite, but not enough. Right here is my first mistake of the game. I should have actually just continued on in this rift. Should have kept going. I wasted way too much on this guy. Right here, I see this tornado coming. So I'm wondering if I could pull the elite into it. So thankfully, I was actually able to do that. And I know that on my next cold rotation, I can easily kill this guy. But I should have left a while ago, because I'm going to end up at the same exact spot that I would have already been at if I had just left this fight. And all I managed to do was waste some time. There I blind, stop channeling, and he's dead, but I'm right back at the same progression level that I was already at. Now I actually make another mistake, go down the dead end, and now here is one more mistake. I trigger the 150, which is an amazing boost of damage. Those geysers from your Pandemonium buff, they're about to get triggered right now, but there's no mobs in the area to really take advantage of that. And then once again, I go the wrong way. I'm looking for elite packs. I'm hoping to find one. I know that I'm close to 200, but there's nothing over in this area. So I might as well just use my cold rotation, kill what I can, and head on out of here and try to find the exit to this rift, because I'm not that far off. My progression is still to the point where I can do this. I know that if I get a good second floor, third floor, whatever, I can actually do this. I see these blues here. I know I'm close to 200 stacks on the Pandemonium buff, but I need to be able to get them out of there. So I head on down here, try to grab as many mobs as I can. I am staying alive quite nicely thanks to those Stone Gauntlets and thanks to the Lefebvre's. So personal opinion, I think it was a pretty good choice on my part so that I could just stay alive. Now we're at 192. but I'm having trouble bringing in that top charger. He's not coming in as much as I'd like, and we're about to hit 200 right here. As a matter of fact, there it goes. Treasure chests are falling, but we're not actually dealing a ton of damage to all of them because we are split up. And this guy's still at a little under half life. That's a very big chunk of health that I'm probably not going to be able to take down. So we're actually looking at yet another mistake. I stay and fight these guys. Cold rotation comes. I'm able to take one of them down. I'm able to put a big chunk of hurt onto the other charger. But right now I'm thinking about leaving, and I actually should have done it because this is going to take 2 more COE rotations, and that's not really good. I'm just wasting time staying even at this point, and I really should have just went down and avoided this fight altogether. Elites, when they're by themselves, probably not that great of a adventure for me. I don't want to be doing this type of work when I'm this far behind at this point. But that cold rotation takes care of it, and I'm actually behind. Now I see the conduit here, and I'm thinking that I should just take it. Normally I would wait, stack up some elite groups, and use it to kill those. But I know this is going to be a long hallway and a pretty big run. Hopefully I can take out some of the mobs, get a little bit closer to being even, and get to an elite pack like I just did. I pop that shield pylon just to make sure I don't die while I've got the conduit, and I'm actually able to clear out that elite pack relatively quickly. Now I've got a little bit of conduit left, so I'm going to go forward, and then it falls off. Now I do notice that I lost my stacks, my pandemonium stacks, and I'm building back up. So I'm getting close to that 100 mark again, and I know I'm in a great area to utilize that 100. Those tornadoes in wide open spaces, they're going to be all over the place, but when you're in corridor type rift layouts, those things are going to bounce off the walls. They're going to deal a ton of damage. Now I'm at 79 stacks. I know these maggot broods, they give off ads that are going to help me spawn those tornadoes with 100 stacks, and this is going to be pretty epic because they're in a perfect spot for the tornadoes to just destroy. And the tornadoes spawn and they start heading into them, and everything just starts getting wrecked. As you can see, I almost died as well, but I was able to survive. I've got another tornado going into this guy, and now I'm way ahead thanks to that pandemonium buff. We did trigger the dark geysers right there. Nothing was really in the area to benefit from that, but there was nothing we could do. We weren't going to stop killing. Now I'm going to go ahead and try to further my progression towards 200 stacks, try to use that for a battle against another elite or something like that. So I'm going to go ahead and use my cold rotation on COE again. I'm at 175 stacks. Grab that speed. Time to get out of this. I am looking around for another elite group. There's nothing really in this area. So I'm going to go ahead, since I know I'm about to hit physical, I'm going to stop and I'm going to take out some of these enemies here. And then we're at 186 stacks, 195. Now I'm really starting to look for an elite group so that I can use that 200 stack count bonus from your pandemonium buff to actually take down an elite group. I do turn this corner and I've got the wasps right here, and I know that they're kind of squishy, and I should be able to use these treasure chests to really deal some damage, put some hurt on them. And I did a really decent job there. I know this guy's going to die in one cold rotation. I'm already on physical, so I know that it's about to drop, and I'm able to get some more progression out of this rift. So thankfully I stopped making as many mistakes and started actually realizing how I could run this rift and really utilize the bonuses for pandemonium to help me progress. Now I'm pretty far ahead, so I don't want to lose this. So I'm going to use this cold rotation, and then I'm going to go ahead and move. At this point I see the exit, and I do see these chargers off in the corner, but I figured they are pretty high when it comes to the XP pool, HP pool, and they're not going to die really easy. There wasn't enough there to trigger any effects. The next effect is 300 anyways. It's not going to one-shot elites, so I'm not going to be able to kill those. So I figured I'd go down. I'd take a look at what's down here, try to see if I can find another elite group or something else to build up. I don't really care for this mob type. There's not a ton of density, so right now I'm just hoping that this would be a very quick rift and I'm able to get off of the floor, etc., or at least something would have a bunch of density, a couple of elite packs, something that's going to help me progress. But so far, not much is here. I'm using my cold rotation once again to trigger this. Now we're at 270 stacks. We're going to go ahead and keep going through the rift. I do see this yellow right here, so I try to start fighting them. Like I said, I know 300's the next stack count. I know it's not going to deal a ton of damage. I'm not personally going to be able to deal a ridiculous amount of damage either. So I'm thinking I'd like to see what 300 will do. And then if not, maybe I leave this floor, hopefully. And we've got another elite coming in. We hit the 300 stack, but it didn't do anything. And for the first time in this rift, I actually make the perfect decision and leave those two elites, and boom, we've got a pretty decent floor right here. Probably should have saved the power pylon for the boss, but I figured I would need it to try to get some more progression with this rift. I know I've got cold rotation coming up. We pop a little bit right there. I'm going to try to group up as much as I can, see if I can find some elite groups. And it doesn't look like this power pylon is going to benefit me at all when it comes to elite groups. It's going to be gone by the time I really start fighting some. So I go ahead and take this stuff down. I'm close to 400 stacks now. I know that 400 stack count can deal a ton of damage, and I find an elite group right there. They are shielding, but I'm able to realize that 400 will kill these blues. And I'd actually like another elite pack with it as I trigger it. So I'm getting closer. I'm at 381, and now I think it's time to make sure that I'm dragging these with me, but try to find one more pack to utilize the 400 stack count of my Pandemonia buff. And there it is. And it's another blue pack, which is great, because blues are going to die a lot easier than the yellows would. And unfortunately, the wormholes are knocking me out of my Tempest Rush here and there, but I am able to get to 395. And I know that 400 will take out both of these packs if I can keep them stacked up enough. There's one pack gone, and now it's just one left. And I know that the next rotation of my cold will kill this guy. So I'm going to go ahead and stay on it, try to make sure that I'm blinding it as much as I can, and waiting around for that cold rotation, which is going to be right. Actually, I drop it before the cold rotation, which was awesome. He was all by himself, so I was critting all the time thanks to my balance. And now we've got Arathon. Not a fun Rift Guardian. This guy, Blighter, Maiden, they are all Rift Guardians that can one-shot this build, especially if you lose that stack of Stone Gauntlets. You are going to be taking a bunch of damage, but Arathon is also going to be taking a bunch of damage, especially from my cold rotation. Now, I am going to try to keep everything up as far as Epiphany, my blind. I'm going to try to utilize that cold rotation as much as I can, but unfortunately I died right there before I could get that Tempest Rush stop. And I make another mistake right here by running away from Arathon, who is then going to use its dash and wreck me. So unfortunately that was another mistake. I should have stayed within range so that she wasn't going to dash at me, and I would have been able to keep going. And now I've just got to put the hurt on this guy and try to drop this Rift Guardian as much as I can. I got cold coming up right now, trying to keep Epiphany up there, trying to blind, stop channeling. Decent amount of damage. This build can do a big chunk of damage with that cold rotation as you're building up your Tempest Rush stacks, and you go ahead and blind and then stop casting your Tempest Rush right here. Big chunk Boom. So I know this can be done, and I know that I can actually beat this, but then I die one more time. This thing is pretty much one-shotting me, so I gotta make sure I stay alive. I got 43 seconds left. I know I can do this. I know I've got the damage output. I just have to survive till my next cold rotation, and hopefully that is something that I can do. Here's physical, and then cold rolls around, blind applied, boom, big chunk, and then it just took a little bit more damage, and there we go. And then I ended up, I think it was rank 141 at the time that I had done this. I think now I'm 252 or something like that. But I do have the capability of pushing even further without augments. But, alright, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you liked this video. Hopefully you got something out of it. Thank you so very much for taking the time out of your day to click and watch this video. I always greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and let me know down in the comment section down below what you thought of this video, what you thought of that Greater Rift clear. What's your highest Greater Rift clear this season so far? I want to know, so let me know down in that comment section down below. And once again, thank you so very much for all the support, and you all have a fantastic day. Peace.